I want to bring your attention to an income distribution calculator. Whether you earn weekly, whether you earn bi-weekly, whether you earn monthly, and your yearly income can be calculated, and then you can strategically allocate where your income is going and what percentage of your income should go to the different areas so that you can be positioned to be set up for success. But before we get into that, I want to present to you the passage of scripture which comes to us from Proverbs 13 and verse 11. It says, "Wealth gotten by vanity shall be diminished, but he that gathereth by labor shall increase." This is basically saying to us that money that is gotten quickly or dishonestly or without effort by vanity will eventually disappear. But if you are steady, if you are consistent, if you are diligent, if you are honest with your labor, with your input, then you will grow gradually. In essence, we are admonished that real lasting income comes from consistent hard work, but not shortcuts. So, what we are saying is that we need to be strategic in how we deploy our efforts, our energy. And working hard does not mean that you're not working smart because of the shift in the economy at this time. We have to realize that we have to be strategic in how we operate. So we have to work a smarter more than with laboring or with force. We have to be strategic in how we operate. We have to be efficient in deployment of our energy to ensure that we get the best value in the time that is allotted. And with that said, I know that you understand what we are saying. It means then that if you have a job that is paying you $20 and you have a job that is paying you $50, you are more likely to choose to do the one that is paying you $50 based on the financial reward, based on the benefits that they are giving to you financially. We are talking about the benefits that you will be receiving in the very moment and not benefits that are intertwined. So the upfront benefit, not the hidden or the concealed benefits. So that is just something that I want you to take into perspective. We know that 7 days make 1 week. Most of us are admonished to work 5 days. Some of us work 6 days. And in rare instances, you may have an individual working 7 days. We have to be mindful, we have to be cognizant of the body requiring rest. And the Word of God admonishes us to remember the Sabbath day, to keep it holy. The body needs to be rested. The mind needs to be rested. The spirit needs to be rested. So we should not overexert to reach an end that is not in our best interest. I want us to do a hypothetical scenario. Let us say, for instance, you're making weekly, that's within a 5 day or a 6 day period or even a 7 day period. You are making $3,300. We're just doing a rough calculation. So bi weekly, you should be making 3,300 times 2, which would give us a total of about 6,600 because 3 and 3 is 6. Very good. All right, so we are at 6,600. So now let us say that you're working for a month, and we are going to go off the principle that a month consists of approximately 4 weeks. So if a month consists of 4 weeks, we're just trying to estimate how much we'll be making for the month. If a month consists of 4 weeks, we're going to say 6,600 times 2 would give us 13,200. But we can also say the initial weekly is 3,300, and we're going to times that by 4. So we have an idea as to how much we are expecting to get before taxes are deducted on a monthly basis. But we want to go a little further. We want to see how much can we really amass from a deployment of this nature. We assume that the year consists of 52 weeks based on what has been documented. So we are going to take our weekly payments, which would be 3,300, and then we're going to be multiplying that by 52. And if we multiply that by 52, we will be taking home $171,600. I know that sounds like, wow, a lot, but that is not actually a lot. That is a drop in the bucket. Because where we're going to go, where we desire to go, we need way more than that. If we are making 171,000, that's before taxes are deducted. Do you know how long it would take us to make $1,000,000? Guess. Let us just do the maths together. So let us pull up the calculator. We are making $171,600, but we want to know how long will it take us to make $1,000,000. So we are going to have to do some division. So let us put $1,000,000. And then we're going to divide that $1,000,000 by $171,600. And we are realizing that we can become a millionaire by this one assignment in 5.8 years. That is before taxes are taken out of your compensation. So you see how it is possible. The more you earn, the more you can keep back, would give us a better time frame to become millionaires by just one assignment or one deployment, one employment. But guess what? In this kind of economy, having one deployment, one employment is not necessarily the best option for everybody. Sometimes you have to have two employments, two deployments, or you have one employment and one deployment. So we have to find what is in our best interest so that we can maximize the resources that God has given unto us. So we are going to assume a tax rate of 30%. So this is what I want you to think about. You are making $171,600, but a 30% tax rate is going to be taken out. So every month you will be paying over approximately $3,960. Can you imagine that? So that's a tax and your withholdings, assuming just at 30%. We're not assuming a 50% taxation rate like in California. We're expecting at 30% because we're not in California. We're assuming that we're in the regular places in the world where taxation is not that drastic. We're not in England either, so we are not going to use their protocol. We're just going to use a 30%, which would be basically the average taxation that is expected from a normal earner. This is just an average earner. This is not a phenomenal earner. This is just a regular person that we're talking about. Because a phenomenal earner would be making in the millions per year. All right? So this person is just starting out from ground zero. They are making headway, but in order to get where they need to go, they're going to have to put in some effort. And that is where our breakdown comes in to play. So after your taxes are taken out, you have a remaining distribution of 70%. So 70% means that you have $9,240. All right. So I want you to understand that you're going to have to break that down even smaller to fit the different areas. So if you're making that amount of money, only 25% of your income can go towards housing, which means that the most you must pay for housing per month is $2,310. For transportation, if you have a car, you have a car loan, which we do not advise, we do not support. But if you have it, we're going to try to get you out of that car loan so that you can own your vehicle outright. The maximum you should be putting in gas servicing maintenance is 10%. All right. So food and necessities, you need energy for yourself. You need energy for your family. You need your family to be sanitary. You need them to smell good. So we need to have an allocation for food and necessities. So that should be 15%, which would be about $1,386. So overall, we have 50%. So 50% of our money is gone already. So that is $4,620 that we have allocated for necessities. What is going to happen with the next set of money, provided that you don't have any loans, because we really don't want you to have any form of loans. We are going to need you to put 25% of that money into an emergency fund. All right, and you're going to carry your emergency fund right up to about 6 months of necessary expenses. Then if you have debt, we wanted to put 5% towards debt payment. So the 25% would be $1,155 should be going towards your emergency fund. 5% for debt payment, $2,300 or $231. That's 5% of the sum that we have remaining. And then 20% in investment, we should have about $924 being invested. So we use these big numbers or these bigger numbers so that we can have a better appreciation of what is happening. But let us look at the reality. The average weekly, let's say, is about $1,500. Monthly, you're taking home about $66,000. So yearly, you're making about $78,000. That's basically the average of what the majority of persons are taking home. So if we're using that template, I want you to watch how the numbers changes. So for your taxation, we are going to assume that you are now going to be having 30% still withholding, but now you're going to be monthly. You're going to be allocating 1,800 towards taxation. So you're taking that out. You still have your 70%. So you are making 4,200 after all those taxes have been taken out. The most you can pay for your rent is 25%, which means that the most you can rent a place for, including light and water, is $1,050. I want you to understand what we're saying. The most you can rent a place for, if you are making only $78,000, is $1,050. Your transportation should not be more than $420. Your food and necessity should not be more than $630. And that takes you to 50%, which is $2,100. And then we have savings and investment, which would be another 50%. So 25% is going to go into the emergency fund. So we're going to have to try to allocate 5,200 and 5,500 and rather $525 into the emergency fund. For the debt payment, we're going to be paying $105. For investment, we're going to be trying to put at least $420 into investment. And the idea is, if you're making this amount of money, it means that you are not a high income earner to the point that you have to go through a back door in order to get your money into an investment vehicle. So what we're going to advise you is that this $420 will be placed into a Roth IRA, which means that this money is already taxed. So you are going to be putting this amount of money that you have excess into a retirement account, right? Because when you make trades, when you make investments, when you sell, you don't have to pay taxes on it again, providing that you decide to keep the money in until you reach the age of retirement, or the age when the government allows you to take out the funds without any form of taxation or penalty. So this is just what I want you to bear in mind. So whatever it is that you are making, it gives you an idea of how much money you can afford to spend. So if you're making $500 per week, you're only making $26,000 per year. So the most you can have in housing is a $350 house bill. That's the most you can have, and that has to include your light, your water, your utility bills, whatever garbage collection, disposal, all of that has to be included into that bill. And if you are positioned in this way, you will be in a position of safety where you can position your money to make your money work on your behalf. I want you to just bear this concept in mind as we touch a little further into how we are going to grow our investment portfolio while trying to cut down our debt or even eliminating our debt, while having our emergency fund fully funded for 6 months, providing that anything drastic happens, we would have our emergency fund. So thank you for spending some quality time with us. What we're going to be doing at this time is allowing you an opportunity to take the step to look at the protocols which have been placed in our description below. Download it, put your amount of income in, and understand how much you need to be allocating to the different aspects of your life. And these numbers can be modified as long as we don't over exert, which means that we're going to be putting ourselves in a deficit, which means that we're going to be having a negative cash flow. We don't want to have a negative cash flow. So thank you once again, and let us ask ourselves the question, does it make dollars or does it make sense? Until next time, this is Dr. A signing